Good evening! It's Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole. What separates our show from other Millennial news podcasts?
The Tonight asshole was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got Chinese food.
And I encouraged Sleet to be bad, so it's not his fault either. It's all my fault.
We have a boomer and a Gen Zer, and not just any boomer and Gen Zer. We have Mr. Boomer Rex himself.
Oh, God, I'm here again.
And my spawn Sleet.
That makes two of us.
Utes, asshole and boomer eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and Sleet and I are learning. That's 4 unique perspectives we share along with the facts from our literal round table.
So how long till I don't need to eat anymore?
Tonight it is Burn It All Down Wednesday with Risen, so let's dig right into our headlines. Can I see you? Or I can see you. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Poor whales. Every time they turn around, people are just invading their privacy. Anyway, we have a new way to eavesdrop and track whales.
Well,
Excellent.
Wonderful.
We'd always used hydrophones, right? So you put out an array of individual hydrophones. It's infinitely expensive. You have to maintain it yourself and so on. Nope, turns out if you've got a dark fiber underwater, you can use it to track and listen to the whales because their noises excite acoustic vibrations in the fiber. And my guess is that you don't actually need a dark fiber. That just makes it easier.
Yeah.
Right? You know what's in the fiber. You know what's in the fiber because you put it in the fiber. So you can blank that out and look for the whales.
Treats.
So anyway, it's called distributed acoustic sensing. So uses existing underwater fiber optic networks, but it does need a dark fiber, an unused fiber.
Interesting.
At the moment. So anyway, they used it to track blue whales while they were foraging during the summer and so forth.
Aw,
Anyway, it's going to be kind of cool.
that is cool.
Poor whales.
That's exciting.
I wonder who we're going to sell their data to. I mean, who can sell them things?
Japan.
Oh, shit.
We'll sell it to SeaWorld so they can more accurately capture and kill
Yep.
them.
That's it. Asshole was saying we're going to sell it to Japan to
Yeah.
hunt the whales.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what's going to happen. So, fuck you, Japan whalers.
I mean, if
That one
you
comes a
whalers
lot
in
back on
general.
us.
if Greenpeace had ever asked to buy a diesel electric sub, I would have contributed. So
Yep.
fuck with them. Just got sink the sons of bitches.
We'll be done with it.
Yeah,
I really
put a
hope they'll
torpedo
win.
in them and swim away.
And never know what hit them.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not really going to do any of that. Japan whalers, we don't really love you.
I
but
don't
we're going
know,
to pretend we
Greenpeace-
do, because...
Greenpeace hasn't
Whatever.
asked for a diesel electric boat yet.
All right, just lock them up.
So anyway, Senator Lindsey Graham does not want to talk to the courts in Georgia. And so much so that he's fighting the grand jury subpoena even after the judge told him he has to appear. So his lawyers have officially made a filing. The senator and cable news analysts speculated why Graham would refuse to talk if he had nothing to hide. So I just filed a motion to quash the subpoena. It's not going to happen. Lindsey, this was not covered by the debate clause or sovereign immunity or anything else. This is potential criminal acts, and you're going to have to go testify. So, fuck you.
And we'll see what kind of men are the Bar Association of South Carolina or
Yeah.
wherever he's.
Or you can go take the fifth, and then we'll know.
No, but I
Was
really
Lindsey
do.
Graham one of those who asked for a pardon?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't remember his name being mentioned.
But
No,
lawyers,
well.
here's your time to stand up. Like,
Yeah.
doctors
time
already
to
had their
clean up
choice
your-
and they made it in the 90s and they chose poorly.
Yes.
So,
Stand
lawyers.
up, clean up your profession.
yep.
All right.
You're working on Giuliani and several of the other, including the Kraken.
Yep.
Oh, God. What silly
Prove
ass
us
people.
wrong. Don't appear to be the scumbags everyone thinks you are, lawyers.
That's impossible. Anyway, not so fast.
So, Amanda Marcotte, points out there are good reasons for the January 6th committee wanting to portray people as victims of Trump, right? They put their faith, their trust in Donald Trump only to be deceived by him, et cetera, et cetera. It's easier both politically and legally to hold Trump responsible if the people who did his bidding are cast as dupes in the thrall of a deceptive cult leader. So, and there's less incentive for Trumpers to renounce their leaders if they get shunned no matter what. So, there has to be redemption.
Yep.
Right? Oh my God, I was misled by the orange monkey. Anyway, says still, as to the discomfort with Ayer's testimony and apology demonstrates, the simplistic redemption narrative is a tough sell. It's not the tragic story of cult followers of Jim Jones or Keith Raniere, whose sympathetic desires for empowerment and community were used against them. People go MAGA because of their ugliest impulses. They follow Trump because he's a violent racist and a sexual predator, not despite those facts.
Yeah.
Trump gives his followers permission to be their worst selves, and that's why they love him.
Fair.
Aye, it's everything, right, America's been heading towards.
Yeah.
You can eat cake and lose weight, not unless a main ingredient is meth.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not against meth cake inherently.
Cocaine pudding?
That's what I'm fucking saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was easy to be skinny when Coca-Cola had cocaine in it.
That's
I don't think it ever
actually
had
a
enough
good-
to make much difference.
Did.
What?
Absolutely did. I don't know, but I know that when black people were drinking it, there was enough that we made sure they didn't have any in it then.
Oh, okay.
So, no, I have no idea. But again, we're talking about a time when most drugs were legal, which, yeah,
Yes.
they absolutely should be.
Yep. Ain't you got some drops for that, baby?
I-
There's laudanum salts.
Yes.
So. It only took a drop or two to put a baby to sleep.
Same as scotch.
I fucking believe it. That's not okay. All right.
It's the history of the species.
I know. There could be
There's-
consequences.
There's opiates in breast milk.
That's
Yeah.
actually true.
No, that was, at one time I heard a pediatrician say, right, babies who got grumpy after they ate and so forth, is you give the mother 2 shots of scotch, right? And the baby will go to sleep instantly after it finishes its meal.
Oh my god.
And it will relax the mother as well.
Now that Sleet is here, I think it's appropriate to share my story again.
Uh-oh.
When Sleet was a little teeny baby and I was still breastfeeding him, which only
This is going to
happened,
wind up explaining a lot, isn't
it
it?
only happened for the first 4 months of his life. But I remember the first time I got drunk, I was freaking out and I was like, oh my god, I have to breastfeed, right? Like, holy shit. And so I had to call that. Back in the day, there was the 1-800-NURSE number where you could just call them to
Yeah.
ask questions. So I called the 1-800-NURSE number and I was like, I'm pretty drunk and I need to breastfeed my baby. Is that okay? And they're like, oh yeah, just make him sleepy. And I was
I
like,
love
oh,
you, New England.
cool. So there I go, and I feed him, and it did not make him sleepy. It quite the
You
opposite. He
should-
was a very happy baby.
Okay.
You
Very
should
happy.
probably
He
be
was
aware
not
of that.
fussy.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, he was just like, oh, that's fun.
That's
What do I do?
diagnostically interesting if you shouldn't drink.
But yeah, that was his first, and yeah, it was the opposite of what I was planning happening. So,
Ah, okay.
but anyway, what the hell? Oh my god, this just.
You missed it.
Lined up perfect.
Oh, did I miss it? What I missed?
Yeah, there could be consequences.
I said it already, and we didn't talk about it because
Sorry.
we got sidetracked. Never mind. Okay, let's go back to that. There could be consequences.
So, again, in the continuing saga of folks building a wall around Russia and just isolating them as the pariah state that they are, European Space Agency officially terminated cooperation with Russia on a mission to put a rover on Mars.
Yeah.
Russia's space chief is furious, and he says as a result, the Russian cosmonauts on the ISS cannot use the European-made robotic arm. Oh my God.
You should go up there and tell them that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're watching, so fuck off.
So you're basically the Russian in charge of telescopes at this point, huh?
Yeah, not even that. Anyway, again,
If I were
Russia.
those
Of watching the sky and wishing
If I were those
hardest.
cosmonauts, I would hitch the next ride to another country.
Yeah.
Has the head of the European Space Agency thought about the work of thousands of scientists and engineers in Europe and Russia? Well, no, because
Did you think about that before you went into war with people and expected them to just be okay with
this
it?
is what happens when you've got a fucking Nazi leader and you go off behaving just like the fucking Nazis. And Europe's had enough of Nazis. So Russia, you're out of the club, off the island.
No,
You've been out of the club for a while, but we let you sit on the curb. Now you don't even get the
Yes.
curb.
Of course we thought of them. The same way we did in 1945 when the first Iron Curtain went up.
Yep,
And we watched all of our friends disappear behind that.
yep. So
Russia chose
No,
this
it's-
path.
Russia chose this path, and now we're going to put up an Iron Curtain, albeit a more effective one.
They have to. They already have. Right? They're
They're
the
more
ones who shut down.
Soon enough, they'll have to, because many of their competent people who can leave are leaving.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
they need to prevent their own people from turning on them
Yep.
or leaving.
so, anyway,
All right. Now are we ready to move?
Don't leave, turn on.
yes.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's what I'm saying.
I picked this one. I can't even figure out what was going on.
No, this is infuriating.
So,
This would have been one of my Burn It Down Wednesdays if you hadn't used it. So
oh, you want to save it for, or you don't have it?
what?
You want to save it for Burn It Down Wednesday?
Oh, you can open us up Burn It Down Wednesday with this one. So let's come back to it. Boomer Rex's About Damn Time.
Bullshit. What'd they do today?
Yeah, good
All
news.
right.
Good news. Tell me the good news.
So, Los Angeles-based anti-gay pastor, online radio host, and Manosphere star Jesse Lee Peterson
Yeah, gross.
has described homosexuality as the spirit of the devil which infects people,
Devil
and
fucks.
asserted that it is the result of abuse. In June of 2021, Peterson, who is black, called for Christians to celebrate white history in opposition to LGBTQ Pride Month. So, Peterson is alleged to have had multiple gay relationships and exhibited a pattern of sexually harassing male associates.
Oh,
Several
like
of
almost-
Peterson's former friends and associates have come forward, including one who claims to have had a decade-long sexual relationship with Peterson. So, another self-hating gay guy.
I was just gonna
Right.
say,
So like every other
the notes I
religious
took on
pastor that is aggressively against it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Weird religion.
So
It's
the
like
note-
that's the point.
No shit.
the notes I took
It's
on
all
this
about power.
are Jesse Lee Peterson hates himself. That was my note.
Yeah. So anyway, as a result, the Manosphere is now rejecting him, and they're distancing him and banning him from
Good.
events and speaking
Fuck 'em.
engagements and so forth. So anyway, it turns out the right-wing Catholic site, Church Militant, broke the story in June with a 30-minute video featuring interviews. Anyway, there's no proof yet, but hey, what the hell?
All right.
Apparently
these
it's
are
been
the-
going on forever.
Well, and again, this is the shitheadery that's into sectarian violence. Like, that's the thing.
Yep.
Is whatever they replace the Republic with, it'll degenerate into them doing violence on each other.
Yep.
It always does.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it when they go after each other. It's so much fun to watch.
Oh god, yeah. Dumbass of the day.
So this one is a little late. Because on December 2nd, 2020, Mark Meadows was telling people that Donald Trump didn't intend to leave office despite having lost the presidential election to Joe Biden by 7 million votes and quite a few electoral votes. And this was right after, that meeting with Overstock CEO Patrick Byrne and the unhinged December 18th meeting. When they had all
Oh yeah,
the
that
crazies
weird
in.
argument. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and it turns out nobody knows who put the crazies through security. That's a question we should probably ask.
Yeah, we need to find out who let those idiots in.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
So anyway, at that time, the head of the communications office said, I'm planning to move on, and I want to put you on notice that I'm doing that. And he says, what if I could tell you that we're actually going to be staying? And so, and she says you can interpret that as hypothetical, but there were people around the president telling him that, and that's what led to this absolute insanity. She noticed she moved up her resignation to the next morning. So no, of course we're not. I told all my staff. We lost. So again, talk about dumbass of the day there, Mark Meadows. By the way, Trump is clearly setting you up, boy. You really should go state's evidence, because otherwise you're going to spend some time in a federal pen. So it's going to be fun to watch. What can I tell you?
I think for the true diehards, the ones who know how close we came, I think they know their choice is now down to that, or the alternative of being released from that cage.
Yeah.
Right. The worst thing that happens is you turn state's evidence, DOJ comes over all like, oh no, there's a memo that says we're not allowed to things, and that's the one rule apparently the FBI just will not break for some reason. But
good old milk. Never mind.
But if they don't bring charges, it's if you're gonna shoot at a king, you better kill him. And if you don't believe they're gonna get Trump, which I really want them to, that would be great. I have very little faith.
I have no faith at all in Milquetoast Garland.
Yep.
No.
So maybe I don't want to go down the Epstein hole.
Yeah.
If I was Mark Meadows. On the other hand, if I was Mark Meadows, I wouldn't be after I found, a doorknob.
Yeah.
I've got a belt.
All right. Bad idea.
So, Patch.com is reporting that a Trump supporter in Minnesota is now facing multiple counts of wire fraud after allegedly committing vandalism and arson against his own property and then trying to blame it on BLM and Antifa.
Yep.
He even painted little shit. Dennis Mola has been charged in federal court with 2 counts of wire fraud, lied about being targeted by anti-Trump vandals, falsely reported to law enforcement that someone had lit his camper on fire, and reported his garage door was vandalized and spray painted graffiti with Biden 2020 and BLM and an Antifa symbol. Anyway, he tried to claim $300,000. He managed to get paid $61,000, and then he received $17,000 from some GoFundMe donors. So anyway, now he's up on 2 felony charges of wire fraud.
Yeah.
And that's not the first case of a Trump supporter engaging in fake vandalism.
Oh, God.
Stephen Marks of Connecticut, another Trump fan, was charged with criminal mischief after he graffitied "Kill Trump, the left is best," and Bernie Sanders 2020, "Death to Trump," on local elementary school playgrounds, hoping liberals would take the blame for it. So now you know why they're always talking about false flag operation.
Yeah.
Because they're doing
Because they're always dreaming of doing them.
That's part of why I'm iffy
It's all
on a handful
displacement.
of the attacks on anti-abortion groups. Because it is just as easy to get your kids to put on ski masks and go spray paint some stuff.
Absolutely.
But, I don't know, don't do a lot of things. I did like someone's line about, they're just saying of protests, when you see graffiti and it says, "Blacks rule." There's one thing they know for goddamn certain.
Yeah.
No black person wrote that.
That's right.
But,
Yeah, I know. Well, and we know they were in Portland breaking things.
oh yeah.
And so on. Encouraging others to break things and so forth.
Well, breaking things and then running away, and then the people left are the ones that get blamed for it.
Well, that's one of the things I'm waiting for all of the January 6th to settle out so we can compare the George Floyd protests from various places or in total to, time served and severity of predator.
Yeah.
Since that's the dichotomy all the talking heads seem to want to draw, we're going to get some good numbers.
All right. Walgreens employee of faith. What the fuck?
So a Walgreens employee refused to sell condoms to a married woman, citing my faith.
How does she know that this woman was married?
I don't know.
So she just
In any
saw
case,
a ring or something, assumed she was married?
Yeah, she and her husband were on vacation, and
What right does she have to refuse selling goods that she does not own?
We spent the last bit of Bush and some of Trump doing the religious whatever laws, freedom laws.
yeah.
So the freedom to live under someone else's religion.
So I thought Walgreens handled it well.
Not
Walgreens has a policy, says its employees can step away from completing a transaction to which they have a moral objection.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would fire you on the spot. Your job is to sell shit.
That was the first thing they asked me, or I guess maybe the last thing they asked me in the interview process, or the first thing they asked me the first day at work when I was working at that used bookstore was, any books you'd refuse to sell to somebody? And if the answer to that question was yes, you were gone.
Yeah.
So
and I wouldn't expect this employee to be around particularly long.
here's
but
fucking
anyway.
hoping. Ridicule them.
He questioned the woman, a line of customers stacked up, manager came over, checked her out, and the clerk reportedly walked away with a smirk. I expect that was a mistake. So, anyway.
No, and it's fucking bad
What
enough.
state? Does it say?
What?
What state? Does it say?
Yeah, hold on.
Well, he's looking for the state. It's bad.
Wisconsin with her husband.
It is whatever enough when you're taking condoms and going up and trying to buy them. When the person behind the counter makes a big fucking stink about it, I would be bullshit.
Actually, one of the customers who was stuck in the line behind her chased her down outside the store. And he said, I don't believe how well you handled that because I would not have.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, that's
Wisconsin's a right to work state. Enjoy.
So I
living
have
outside.
I have a similar story. A friend of mine was in Paris, and was very conscious of the fact he didn't speak French, and he was halfway living on the economy for 3 weeks while he was there with friends. I mean, he knew people. So anyway, he wanted a pack of cigarettes, and so he went into a tobacconist store and he listened. And until he heard people order a pack of Marlboros, which is what he wanted. And then he walked up to the counter and said to the attendant, he said, I would like a pack of Marlboros, please. And he got this great Gaelic shrug. And the Frenchman acted completely unimpressed and said, Monsieur? So they went through that twice, and my friend was actually quite a good mimic. So he knew he was doing it right. Turned out the store clerk was wearing a tie, and he finally just reached out and grabbed him by the tie, dragged him halfway over the counter and said, I told you to get me a fucking pack of Marlboro. To which the attendant said, Oh, Marlboro! Oh, oui, monsieur! So, anyway.
Yeah, don't be shit.
Yeah.
No, and it's retail kids like that are the reasons why other ones have bad times.
Yeah.
No, this is just ridiculous. This is like refusing to give people fucking marriage licenses because you have feelings about it. Like, I don't give a fuck what your feelings are about my marriage. Just fucking sign the certificate. That's your job. That's
You
what
have a job.
that's what
do it.
you get paid
Yeah.
for with my tax money even.
Yeah.
Fuck off. God damn.
Well,
What is
and
wrong
we
with
would
these
not
people?
have the nice reaction if this was any other product.
Right.
Right? If they were refusing to sell cigarettes or cleaning supplies or whatever.
pads.
All of which I can make a case against.
Or tampons or any number of things. This is ridiculous.
Or a prescription for morning after pills.
Right.
Or a prescription for heart medication.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a prescription for lupus,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
they're refusing to give people.
I can cast it the other way. What do you do when a state law says that you have to write down the name of the woman who got birth
Do
control
not be an
pills?
informer. Or make shit up.
Okay, I like to make shit up.
You've got a phone book. It's got a whole ass list of
Yeah,
people.
okay.
I
But
would
it-
just write Jane Doe for everybody. Jane Doe, Jane Doe,
Yeah,
Jane
yeah.
Doe. She comes a lot.
Yeah.
You have a local Republican Party. Guess which ones have lady names? Or don't. Fuck them up. Just make sure you don't do it in the most Googleable order, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Updates with BoomerX health threats.
Okay. So anyway, we're back to Omicron. So BA.5 is now the dominant variant. And it's fueling a global surge. Cases are up 30% over the past fortnight, according to the World Health Organization. How long is a fortnight?
2 weeks.
Okay. I used to know that. Anyway, in Europe, the subvariants are powering a spike in cases of 25%. It's marching through China. Part of the problem is that all our testing programs have collapsed because, of course, the pandemic is over and so forth. And it is now starting to drive a spike in deaths.
I can't argue against the rationale that got us there.
Yeah.
Because the downside of democracies is you do have to win that popularity contest, and being the party that is sad about the thing that's going to happen kind of regardless.
Yeah.
We squandered the time we had Americans Cooperative. That shouldn't be a surprise. Yeah, look at how we felt
and it's
September 12th.
It's an exotically adaptable virus. So until we ultimately, we will have vaccines just by the process of elimination that focus on the parts that are not changing and cannot easily change in the virus. So,
All right.
So we'll see.
All right.
But it's a reminder, go get your damn second booster. All adults now.
Climate weirding.
So we see the ice sheets in Antarctica melting.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody
Good,
said,
I want
well,
to read this.
what?
I said, oh, good, I wanted to read this.
So somebody said, well, what has happened historically with the Antarctic ice sheet? And so they've now been able to look at other indicators like core samples and the layers of muck that are deposited when the ice comes off and melts into the base and so on. So down in the mud, you have a historical record of what slid off the shelf. So anyway, there is a warning there. There was a period of ice loss between 10,000 and 5,000 years ago when the ice loss was very rapid. It occurred at a rate similar to the most dramatically changed parts of the current ice sheet melting, which is fairly scary. It's accelerated quite a bit. And was responsible for a several meter rise in sea level.
Nah, it's fine.
Which would wreck
Every coastal city globally.
just about every coastal city.
Well, it'll redefine where the city ends and the water begins.
Yeah.
Like Venice, but less fun.
Yeah. There was a piece of good news at the end of that, which was that it did grow back when the weather changed. So
About that.
if we fix the problem, the ice sheet will go back where it belongs, and all of those cities will be out from underwater again.
Pity about the time frame.
Yeah. We
Hundreds of years.
we have a closing window here to slow this down.
Yep.
So keep that in mind, folks. It's not good.
Yep.
All right.
But what the hey, it's going to be fun. What can I tell you?
Mm.
Use a gondola in New York City. That'll be cool. Second and go, come and go through the second floor window. Just move their lobby to the.
I was gonna say that actually suddenly was my answer a lot of the way in Venice. Is you should be reinforcing those first floors to become sub.
In case they go underwater, for when they go underwater is the better way to put that. Yeah.
Right.
I say every city should be thinking about that, especially you, Miami, especially you, because you got like 10 years. Maybe, if you're lucky.
Anyone living in the Keys, you're going to be the
Insurance
first
companies
to
are
drown.
already leaving.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in Miami.
The insurance companies are leaving.
The smart
Yes.
people
Yeah.
in Miami are going to move.
That's all I'm saying.
Love 90% of
Oh,
Miami.
I mean,
That will be what
So-
triggers the retail
Yeah.
or the real estate apocalypse.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to move on to our
You had
main
your-
Burn it all down.
event?
Yeah,
So,
he has that story to start you off with.
yeah. Hold on, I'm getting there. Okay, so it's Risen's.
Gotta do the introduction. She's the producer. So don't interrupt her again.
Let's keep interrupting her for fun.
You know what? I brought you into this world, motherfucker. I will take you out.
I didn't ask to be here.
That is fair. Okay, but Risen's about damn time to burn it all down, and actually, fun. I like this. I like that Boomer's gonna start us off tonight. So he's gonna start us off with that what the hell story we've been talking about.
Yeah, this is one of those you read and you go, what the fuck? You know, who thought this was a good idea? So Guardian Australia reports that Madeline Gurley, who was traveling from Austria to Canada, where she planned to house and cat sit in exchange for free accommodations, She has a travel blog. She documents her cat sitting excursions. Anyway, she was treated like a criminal when she stopped in Los Angeles on June the 30th, when border officials became suspicious about why she was traveling to Canada.
What?
And after being photographed and patted down and interrogated twice, she was asked whether she was pregnant. To which the appropriate, and again, nobody's ever going to do it in that situation, but the appropriate answer is, what is your fucking basis for asking that question? Anyway. So she was asked whether she,
Here's the thing: even if you are pregnant, your this question from now on, if you're, it's always no.
Yeah.
and when she said
is
she
really
wasn't, she
fact.
was asked whether she had recently had an abortion. And, it's just, what the fuck? What kind of moron
Brain
is
tumor do
asking
you have to
for-
have?
This is just
So, anyway.
Profile.
So,
it's beyond that.
Customs and Border Patrol says the organization takes allegations of unprofessional behavior seriously, and CBP
Yeah.
has standard procedures for handling allegations of misconduct. And if we confirm employee misconduct, we will take firm and appropriate action. Yeah, right.
Fire the motherfuckers.
Now, the numbers I have are old, at least a couple of years back. But as far as I know, Border Patrol has never ruled a shooting by a Border Patrol agent to be out of the line of duty. Which means the one thing I know is that opening statement they have is a lie on its face.
Yeah. So, anyway,
No, this is
another agency saying, don't worry about it, we'll look into it, and that's where it stops.
Yeah.
this
So.
this is infuriating, and I'm glad that we were able to put it into the burn it all down, because yes, fuck this shit. This is not okay. So
One hopes a U.S. citizen would actually have considered saying, who the fuck are you to ask a question like that? Call your supervisor.
that's a
My
great
security
way to
advice-
get tied up.
Yep.
They're gonna make you pee on a fucking stick. They're gonna be bad.
Shout at him about how you're a jackboot.
On what basis are they
find
gonna
out
do
that
any of
jackboots.
this? They have no
Because they
authority.
have border patrol, and they apparently can do whatever the fuck they want. This
Yep.
is proof of that.
You're gonna be in their little room, and it's gonna be their lie that goes down on the paper.
It's gonna be your word against theirs, and who are they gonna believe? Who you think they're gonna believe?
Absolutely.
Every
have
time. Every fucking time. So,
Anyway,
I'm just saying, this is something we women need to be
Hey,
very
Stop traveling.
yeah, absolutely.
My business travel is just for the affairs at this point.
I did want to make a quick mention, as part of my Burn It Down Wednesday, that gas prices are falling, and have been for the last 26 days. Do you want to know the one thing the right, and even the left-wing news has not been talking about? The falling gas prices.
Everything's a-okay. Stay tuned through this commercial break. Yeah, no one's saying that.
The wholesale price of gasoline has dropped much further than
Right.
the pump. So it really hasn't gotten through to the pump yet.
But it is
I
going
think
down.
farmers should go full Prince and just change the name to the dollar sign.
Well,
Right.
again, if Biden wants to do something about inflation, where's the windfall profits tax?
Yes.
Come on, Democrats, get off your fucking backs.
Someone, I don't...
Somebody do something.
Wake the fuck
Wait
up.
a second, wait a second. I'm pretty sure senators can give a proxy vote.
You know?
And
We have two iffy senators. Maybe they don't need to be there.
Well,
Democrats, work it out.
yeah,
All right.
give
So
them COVID.
So let's get into the meat of this, which is, of course, the abortion thing, because this has been popping up, and of course, it needs to be talked about, because
Yeah.
these are the problems that we knew were going to happen. And so I'm going to start with, we're going to talk about two specific things tonight, okay? The first one is the Ohio 10-year-old, okay?
Yep.
So her rapist was caught hours after conservatives started changing their narrative on this and started saying that this case was, quote,
Too good to be
was
true.
an, quote, abortion story too good to be true.
Oh.
Too good to be What the fuck is wrong with you people? Nobody wants to get an abortion. Why do you keep acting like that's what we want? Like that's our whole goal in life. You get an abortion, you get an abortion, you get
Because this was absolutely the perfect story for the left.
Yeah,
Oh, of course.
absolutely.
But
And they
this
had to say
happens-
something.
This happens more often than the Republicans want to fucking admit. And now they're sad that it happened days after
They
this
were
happened.
banking on the fact that this would Claudette Colvin if they pulled it enough threads.
Yeah.
Doesn't appear to be, except we're a little bit going to get banged on this guy maybe here illegally.
No, these fucking asshats just need to stop. This
Reality isn't real. Things can't happen to people.
fake news.
When reality's bad enough, they'll do anything to look away. Look
Pretty
at how
much,
hard
yeah.
they try on Sunday when they gather to believe in their tiny gods, and yet all of them are so scared when they're sick and the moment is coming.
Well, and again, like, fucking, God isn't going to save you in the world today.
That not
He's
existing
obviously
is going to be
proven
a problem
He don't
there.
give a fuck. If he exists, he's proven he don't give a fuck.
Having an imaginary friend and putting all of your
Yeah.
whatevers onto him, first of all, even if you believe that imaginary friend is truly real, how much of a dick are you to put that kind of
You're a
shit
bad
on
friend.
his shoulders? He's sitting there like, motherfucker, why do I have to carry all your weight? Carry it your fucking self.
You get to exist and
Well,
eat
if you
Doritos.
look at their behavior throughout the week, you know that when they try to cast their troubles on him, he's going to look at them and go, no,
Yep.
right? Because there's not one of them that's a Christian,
No.
right? Christian nationalism has nothing to do with Christianity.
Agreed.
It's just a flag they
I'm
wave.
sticking with my French philosopher about mankind won't be free until the last priest is strangled with the entrails of the last king.
Ooh,
Or
I
billionaire.
like that.
Depends on which translation you're going with.
Billionaire. I'm gonna go with oligarch.
It's what king has all right.
Oligarch is a good kind of both.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with oligarch.
Look at the various kings who spent some time in exile versus the kings who spent time in that pleasure palace. Yeah, they meant
Anyway, so that is just this is insane. All right, these right wing nut jobs need to fucking calm down. This needs to stop. All right, so let's move on to my second complaint of the evening. Biden's half-hearted attempts to appear helpful to women's rights. Fuck you. You're not helping. Okay, you had things that you could have done to help, and instead, you decided to not help. Great,
You
good
did
job.
nothing.
Fuck off. This whole thing has turned every woman into a pariah. Literally. We got women being stopped at the border. We got 10-year-olds being told they have to have babies. I mean, this is true insanity right now that is happening in America today. We got women with atopic pregnancies that are not getting treated until they are literally on fucking death's door. That is slow, that is painful, and that is unfucking pleasant for everyone involved.
cruel and unusual.
So
one
what
might
is
say.
what is go along, get alone, and MX Joe Biden doing?
Fucking nothing.
Oh my God.
He literally put out a statement saying that people have to that people in that give out prescriptions, what are they
Right.
called?
Have
Pharmacists.
to fill the
Pharmacists have to fill these prescriptions if they are prescribed by a doctor because they are not doctors and they cannot decide what people get. Great. That's only good in pharmacies that are actually given money by the federal government. How many of those do you know of? I don't think Walgreens gets money from the federal government. Maybe
they
they
got
do.
that policy.
They probably do.
Either
actually.
way, they've got that policy, and that's the effect on the ground. Otherwise, we wouldn't have heard these stories over the last
Yeah.
decade.
And the other thing he was saying is that, you know, current laws that are in place, and he's trying to like extra enforce them by like calling hospitals and telling them you have to treat these people. Great. Good job. Until people are getting arrested for not treating people, this isn't going to go anywhere. Until you send the FBI in to arrest the people who own these hospitals, which are profit driven, and say, you aren't treating people, they're dying because of you, into jail you go. Until that happens, this is going to continue.
Well,
The good news
For a couple
is that the ones that are for profit are accepting money from Medicare and Medicaid and so forth. And the correct thing to do, since they bill after the fact, is to suspend their federal payments until they're compliant.
Oh, fair.
Right,
I like
which
that.
will wreck their bottom line.
But I do want to talk on a personal note here. That as an aging woman, every time I feel something uncomfortable in my uterine area, whether it's cramping, maybe I have an early period because I'm going through like early stages of menopause, basically, right? So sometimes I'll have a late period, sometimes I'll have an early period, and I'm regularly like kind of uncomfortable sometimes for no reason. But I a little bit panic when this happens, okay? And I'm always like, oh my God, what if I'm pregnant? What if it's unviable? What if it's ectopic? And I take care not to get pregnant, right? Like, I'm careful. But we all know the story of the best laid plans of mice and men. Sometimes shit just happens no matter how careful you are. And this absolutely terrifies me to my core. And I can't imagine what other women who are in, you know, worse situations, because I'm in a situation where I know that if I had an issue, I could get it handled. Great. But the fact that it still scares me that I might have to fight or have to go out of state or have to, you know, come up with a lot of money or something to try to handle this situation, I can only imagine what women, you know, people who, you know, menstruate, what it feels like if you're in a situation where you don't have that ability to say, I can take care of this if it does happen. The fact that it still makes me panic, I can only imagine how much more panicked these people are.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for you other menstruating people out there in this world today, because this is not okay. We need to stop that. We need to do something about this, and just yelling about it and just whatever isn't enough. You need to get involved, and we say this every night now, in your local government. Start local. If you don't like your local government, fucking get involved. Become that government yourself. Get your friends involved. Get your family involved. We need to do something. This is only going to get worse. Women will die. It's going to happen. Menstruating people are going to suffer more. This is just insanity, and we need to do something. So, I don't know, get out there, fucking talk, fucking double check the people who you're voting for, make sure that they support abortion rights and human rights. So,
You
Absolutely.
should have the rights to your own fucking body.
Yes.
It's stupid that we're taking this away because this is one of many steps towards the power shifting back to these people.
they already have. It's
There.
This is the part that's less fun about being me, because I get to improv most of my shit. But so there's an avoidable thing, and then I have another thing.
good for
Do you want to? I saw a good explanation on why Biden isn't going for the brass on this,
Okay.
because we now have a Supreme Court that would more than happily limit the executive branch's power. By the way, that's when you show them the intelligence findings and go, about that being 3 equal branches of government. Where's your big bucket of killers?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have one? Because we've got the military, which has a whole... You can literally sort troops by the waivers they got. So, that's a fairly good reason as to why they're not. Whether it's good tactical choice, I don't think so, but I'm an asshole. The other problem is, at some horrific level, I think what we're seeing is the fight between monotheism and polytheism.
Fair.
Monotheism has never failed to crush polytheism whenever they come into conflict.
Mhm.
If you have a single driving belief, objective, or whatever, you're going to do better. This is my thing. Part of my thing about the Republicans are Republicans and Democrats are Democrats by virtue of not being Republicans. We've got the Crystal Kids, we've got the anarchists, we've got everything else, which is great most of the time. We have the best parties and wildly better sex. But they do firmly believe and wake up day in, day out, now having converted their party into believing Democrats cannot legitimately govern.
I have a joke that illustrates the difference between Democrats.
Yes, this is
and
one of my favorite jokes.
Republicans.
This is actually an early founding one. It better be the one I'm thinking of, or I'm putting
So-
something in your food.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, there were a couple of college kids, one a lifelong Democrat and the other one a lifelong Republican. And they roomed together at college, and when they graduated, they decided that they would meet once a month and just have lunch together. And so they gradually rose through the ranks of the government and the various supporting activities. They both lived in Washington, D.C. And it was a beautiful spring day. And they were having lunch, and this young woman walked into the restaurant. And again, it was a beautiful spring day. She has on a gorgeous and very filmy spring frock. And there's just enough cool air blowing that as she came through the door, it was totally obvious that she wasn't wearing anything under the top of the spring frock. And the Democrat looked over at the young woman standing by the door and turns to his friend and he says, "Oh God, I want to do her." And his Republican buddy looked back at him and said, "Out of what?"
Yeah.
And that's the difference between Democrats and
Democrats get
Republicans.
tangled up in sex scandals. Republicans are about
It's always
cutting.
money.
Yeah.
They're always stealing something.
Ah.
Is that the joke you hoped it was?
That is the one.
Yeah.
So probably nothing going in your food. But no,
Don't know that that's good.
I wouldn't mind a taste test.
there's an unwieldiness to
You taste
people
test
who
for me, you will
menstruate.
starve to death.
right,
Fair.
people with uteruses, where at some level, read a book once. There was an absolute lunatic character. led a
Oh my
cannibal
God,
army.
the uterati.
Ah, right. I thought about that.
You're kidding.
Simply
You
called
beat me to
everybody
that one?
bros or lady bros. And we're nearly at a point where I wouldn't fucking just argue that and be done with pronouns, because we don't win on that fight or having to explain to people who don't fucking care or respect our logic.
Oh, so is your like eyeing me the whole time? Me saying
No, it's rhetorically unwieldy as a phrase. It's the right-ish one, except we're into the right. It's not quite. This is gonna sound so much ruder than I mean it to. If it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid. This is the exact polar opposite of that.
Stupid and it doesn't work.
Right. It lets them.
Maybe not stupid,
spent
but
their
it
time-
really doesn't.
Yeah, well, and they get to for free dunk on us, the general who got suspended for saying, "Oh, now you know what a woman is," or whatever it
Yeah.
was. Right, the fucking gymnastics we let the idiots run who's it's through to make sure she gives the appropriate answer, because otherwise the media and the one lunatic who they can find, guaranteed at least
Yeah.
one, are going to burn her the fuck down. Never mind the fact that she's a fabulous judge or all the rest.
Yep.
Right, that we don't have the discussion about the fact that, oh, she's soft on child molesters, because we wrote the rules for like probably in terms of scale the 20s maybe.
Yeah.
Right, that we have rules that talk about if they have 5 to 10 images, and
Yeah.
we're talking gigabytes,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like
thousands and hundreds and millions of photos,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
but we didn't have that discussion. We at most that was somewhere in the articles about it, but it was mostly about the good lines from the dum dums.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and this is like a good lesson for like don't let your friends, like especially your friends, don't let anybody use your personal computer ever for any reason.
Yeah.
Don't put USB drives that you don't know exactly what's on it in your fucking computer, because I had a friend who got tied up for years in court because he had a computer at his house. He had like a server like we did at our house, and he just let people come over and use the internet when they needed to, because he had friends who were poor and couldn't
Yep.
afford it and whatever. So they needed to come over to look stuff up and do, whatever. And so apparently somebody uploaded a bunch of kitty porn and he didn't know, and the cops showed up and took all his stuff.
And he's a computer guy, and if your computer guy is accused of kitty porn, you probably did it. Like, not saying that's true, I'm simply saying that
Oh,
is
and I
the-
have no idea. And this
I'm not
totally
speaking to your
ruined.
friend.
Well, and again, I don't know. He might have done it, and maybe
Yeah.
he did. I don't know, but I know that it split his entire friend group. You had
Absolutely.
team, he didn't do it, and team, oh, he definitely did it.
And team, I got touched by somebody and would like to talk about it with somebody in a bat.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's what QAnon did brilliantly. Was making it about child molesting and all that, because you need a global cabal of kid fuckers. Because blah, crazy. And no, you don't. Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
Craigslist is full of babysitting jobs that don't make sense. Right? What the fuck is... Why are you paying $3,000 to babysit somebody's kid?
So, anyway, all I'm trying to say is that we need to, put our foot down as Americans, okay? And say that everybody has the right to make decisions about their own body with their family, their friends, their doctors, whoever they choose to involve. You are not involved just because it offends you that they might do one thing that you maybe might not do.
If you disagree, you should be less in charge of making decisions.
And statistically, yeah, when they have an unwanted pregnancy, they get an abortion.
Yes.
Right, and their religious beliefs have nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
It never does.
It never does.
And again,
It's all for power.
I promise you, every one of these people who are, I'll never get one. If they had an ectopic pregnancy and they're fucking bleeding out, they're gonna want one.
If they had a regular ass pregnancy,
If
their
they
kids are
didn't.
going to Cancun.
Yeah.
Not saying people only go to Cancun for abortions. I'm sure Ted Cruz was there for some other scummy reason. It's Ted Cruz. You know he's there for scummy reasons.
I do want to mention
Why
real
he's
quick.
named Cancun Cruz.
We were out and about in the world today, and I overheard a conversation between a young lady and her grandmother, I'm assuming. They were chit-chatting, and I happened to overhear her talking about, I don't know if it was a coworker or a friend, but she said something along the lines of, she should have known better. And she, she should have gotten her tubes tied. And I think it was she should have gotten her tubes tied. She should have known better. That was what keyed me into the conversation. And, I was like, and she said, well, the boyfriend, too, but like, she really should have known better. Here's my thing, okay? It is much easier for a man to get a vasectomy and have it reversed. It's a much simpler operation, okay? Cheaper, easier to do, easier to reverse, whatever. A woman getting her tubes tied is there's a little bit involved. More so involved than a vasectomy, from what I understand. And my point is that men, you are just as responsible. I know you're going to say, well, I can just walk away because it's not inside my body. Great, good for you. That means you need to be extra careful about making sure you're not getting fucking women pregnant, especially right now. You are listening to the show, so I'm assuming you support us. Fucking pay attention. If you don't
ruin
know
somebody else's life because you felt like you wanted to feel better.
If you don't know your woman's cycle, you're wrong. If she's not telling you, hey, I'm fertile, we should not, we should take a week off. This is, around the time that I'm going to ovulate. We shouldn't have sex for a week or so. Then you are wrong. If you are uncomfortable with having those conversations, you should not be fucking anybody. Men need to step up and need to be more involved.
Wasn't there a 20% increase in vasectomies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Yeah. And again, women need to stop putting down other women. This bothered me because she was putting down her friend or coworker or whatever, saying it was all her fault or mostly her fault or whatever.
If she's a married chick with a boyfriend, then yeah, it was a lot more her game to sell.
Fair. But again, if she was a married chick with a boyfriend, I think she
based on
wouldn't
the
know
tale
whose baby
you've
it was.
constructed, as told, agreed. This is the asshole part of it because at the same time, I think we should absolutely be raising women that technically they are the only one that actually gets fucking pregnant. And it's cute if their boyfriend or husband wants to say, we're pregnant, but not fucking really.
No, and I agree with all that stuff, and I understand all that, and women need to guard their loins. I'm not saying that they're... But to put it all on the woman, I think is absolutely insane and ridiculous.
I think the effects all fall on the woman regardless of everything else, so we should at least be honest about that.
Sure.
And that's where my thing comes from. I'm not saying it's all on her morally or whatever. I'm just saying she will be the one who is punished, and
Well,
the
but-
only one.
I've also known a deadbeat mom who abandoned her children.
sure.
So I mean, it can go both ways. I'm not saying that it's only on the guy's side. 'Cause
Absolutely.
After a woman births a child, she can definitely walk away and say, "Good luck, Dad."
Yep.
And that can happen. But my point is that this is not a one-sided situation. Yes, the woman needs to be obvious because she's the one that's going to have to deal with this. So she obviously needs to pay extra attention. But if she can't talk to her man
Yes.
about when her
she-
cycle is, what her flow, what's going on,
Then she should stop fucking this person she doesn't have an
Exactly.
intimate relationship
and
with.
guys who aren't willing to have those conversations, just don't talk to them, don't fuck them, don't be involved with these men.
That's absolutely agreed.
They're bad people.
Down to cull dudes down to like 3,000-4,000 tops.
No, but for some of them, maybe some guys were a bit squeamish previously. So listening to our show, I hope that it has helped you understand different
Yeah.
things about women and to understand that yes, it is your responsibility too.
Yeah.
For responsible men. Because there are responsible men out there who care and are getting vasectomies and are doing what they need to do to keep their ladies safe. I just want to encourage that more.
Yeah.
Keep doing that.
And to all the women of the red states, right?
Move.
If you don't want to carry a Trumpista's child, don't bet him.
Yeah, stop
Yeah.
fucking these guys.
Yeah.
Know how to
Send
make
him
them
away,
not be
make him an
incels?
insult.
Stop fucking them.
Yeah.
Oh, and for you women who are, oh my gosh, rape. Okay, that happens, and it's terrible, and I'm not trying to make light of it at all. I have a recommendation that might be able to help you avoid uncomfortable situations in the future. There is a book called,
The Gift of Fear.
yes, see,
By Gavin
From the
DeBecker.
Mouths of Babes. So The Gift of Fear, I suggest everybody read that book. Male, female, I don't care. Everybody should read that book. And you
It'll
know,
vastly help you understand the motive.
And it'll
the
help everybody.
signs.
It's not just for women.
no. This is male, female. Everybody should read
Yeah.
this book in general.
It will help you understand any
Now-
situation you're in.
Now, it's not going to
That's
stop
cool.
you from getting raped because we all know that most people who get raped by, they know that person. They're friends with them or whatever. So don't feel any sort of like, oh, I should have known better. Yeah, you know, maybe in hindsight, but hindsight's always 20/20. Always. So don't feel bad about that. Don't beat yourself up. I'm just saying it's a good book. It's worth the read, and it really helps you be more aware of your surroundings, which is really what we as women need to do nowadays. That's all. And men should do it too, especially with everything that's going on right now. I mean, the whole world should be pay more attention to what's going on around them. So anyway,
It helps a lot with understanding what other people are doing and where they're coming from, and you'll find you're generally a lot more comfortable when around people, especially the people you don't know, because you'll start noticing the patterns and you'll get to know them quicker than you would previously.
Yep.
Because you know what to look out for.
So anyway, we love you all, and don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review, smash
that like button.
on YouTube. Go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, on Facebook for fun memes and a link to our Patreon. Give us the $1. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerX, or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter at BRexTonight. And if you Google BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, all links will lead you to us. We love y'all. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Fuck that
See you tomorrow
tragedy
night.
tourist and his dead little Irish eyes.